news come out today or have it come out June 4th or 5th. But it's a Philly 4 pod. I'm the host, Peter Not June. I got my good friend back.
Another
We're
episode this
recording
week.
this straight after we recorded the other thing about the finals. Go watch it. If you aren't watching it, you're a coward. And Marcus is gone already. He's a little camera shy.
My camera on.
No, camera's off.
Oh, it just turned off. Okay, is that
Great
better?
start. Great start.
Okay. Hey, good
All
job,
right,
Bryce.
so
I was turning
today
on
we'll
my
be
Bluetooth.
going. Yeah, so today we'll be going over Phillies, what they're doing now.
Not a good stretch these last couple games.
No, the Sixers and their off season. A little brief, like not brief. We'll go in depth with that one because we both. We'll go in depth of that draft, free agency, what they need. Then we'll go over Eagles shortly because there's not too much to go over there yet.
And go over the draft. Go
Go
over
over Super Bowl, Huff getting traded, Madden cover, and a little bit about the draft because this bum's an Alabama fan and he has some in-depth analysis about Jahad Campbell that I would love to hear. And then lastly, Marcus will be sticking around as a little buffer because he doesn't know much about hockey, but we will be going in depth about the Flyers. He will be staying on. He'll be
Mhm.
trying to stick around in that conversation the best he can. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode, so just try to hold in there because I know attention spans these days are very, very short. So let's get started. Philadelphia Phillies, they are 36-23 this year. They just got swept by the Brewers. They play tonight at 7:15. Bryce Harper will be coming back, and they're playing the Toronto Blue Jays. They're
I
third
see.
in the NL, second in the NL East, 1.5 games back of the New York Mets. Um, what have you made of this season so far?
So obviously we started off pretty well. I mean, being in third place in the NL, that's always a good sign. I mean, obviously though, what really scared me though, these last couple games after we lost Harper, I think we've won in four, the five
Yeah,
games he was out. That's really scary because if he gets hurt again down the season,
that's
I
why I
mean, we
think they
need
need
him.
to go get a bat.
Yeah, I mean, we need him a lot, and I don't think Trey Turner is doing enough. I don't think he's like a superstar. I don't think he's good enough to stay in this.
That's my
I don't know.
boy.
I don't think he's good enough to step up because they need a
I
star to
think
step up.
he is. I just
He's
don't
not.
think he has. That's
He
fair.
needs to. I mean, we used three to an all right Brewers team. Like we should have swept them. I think there's a better shot we would have swept them than them sweeping us. I mean, they're all right. I mean, and then losing them by 10 runs in one game.
Who are
That
the Brewers? Yeah, that was
that's
just that was.
that's
But you know
horrific.
why? You know why? Reese Hoskins. That's why.
Yeah, we're scared of Reese Hoskins. He,
That's
he
my
he played
favorite.
good.
That's
He
my
played
favorite
good.
Philly ever. Like ever, and I think he's my favorite baseball player right now. I've always loved him. He's the reason I started watching. He was the light in the very dark Phillies ages, as we know, because that was like when we started growing up. We would
Yeah,
always
it
talk about
was.
the Eagles and the Sixers, even though they were bad. And the Phillies, hell, even the Flyers, when they would make the playoffs in fourth grade at GMA, we get more talk just because of me than the Phillies would because they were so bad. But then comes Reese Hoskins and he provides some light. So he's my favorite player ever. However, he killed us. Like when I was watching that game when they killed Luzardo,
Hmm.
and we'll get to the pitching staff in a minute with him and how good he's been. So when they Bob showed him, he hit the first home run. I was like, me and my dad was watching a movie, and I was like, just chilling there, cause like we were gonna put the game on, but it wasn't the biggest deal ever. It wasn't like last year. Hoskins didn't come back for the first time.
Hmm.
So I turned on him. I'm like, it's 4-0. He's like, how? I'm like, Reese Hoskins 3-run homer. He's like, oh, come on. He
I was.
doesn't.
You
I
keep
was like,
talking. I'll share my story later.
yeah, and then so I was watching the next one. Me and my sister just had her grad party, so there was like a tent covering our patio. So my mom and dad sat out there, and I was watching the depressing Phillies. And he came up bases. I think were first and third again. And they replayed the homer, and I was like, "This is gonna be another homer. I can feel it." So he fouls off a few pitches. I think homer, and I just bend over. I'm just like that hurt. That hurt me because I want to be like, "Oh yeah, Reese," but like it was like at that point 6-0, and it really did hurt. 'Cause he's a Philly legend. Him and his wife Both have done great things in Philly, so it kind of hurt seeing them do that to us. And he's a possible trade candidate for the deadline.
How do
We'll
you feel
get to
about
that,
that
but
trade?
what's your story? What's your
Okay,
story?
so my story is I was working and then I turn on my phone maybe like
Yeah,
an
we were
hour
supposed to
into the
get
game.
together. Yeah,
They're down 12 runs and I think, "Oh man, we're cooked." Look at the stats. Obviously, Reese is playing pretty good. And then I turn on the game
yeah.
that last inning. I have a little bit of hope we could maybe come back after that Rojas triple.
Oh
Rojas, he's
yeah.
playing. I mean, you can read that. I'm one of his biggest fans. I love him, but
You and my dad. Yeah.
he's really put his hitting together this season. Obviously, he was just kind of like an outfielder. His outfielding, he has maybe not as good as the past couple years. Obviously, if you remember a
He's still
couple,
elite.
yeah, he's still a good outfielder. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, they've had a couple of miscommunications out there with fly
That's
balls
the
and
whole
stuff.
team though.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
That's the
they're playing
theme.
better now.
However, keep
He
going.
was
Yeah.
hitting like 300 something at the start of the year, which
Yeah.
was really good. He's obviously cooled down a little now, but I mean,
Obviously.
he's turned his hit. If he keeps up this hitting, he could be one of the best players on this team. I mean,
1,000%.
he has the pure athleticism too. He could be great.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. a
but
thousand percent.
do you want to talk about Reese Hoskins as a potential trade target?
Yeah. I think it's an interesting little
Very
thing that's
interesting.
kind of spurred up. I would love it, not just because he's my favorite Philly ever, not because he just killed us. Not only all that, but he's hitting really well. Have you seen his splits? I mean, I
Let me
got
pull him
into
up
this
real
argument
quick.
with my grandfather. My grandfather and I were going and we went to Top Golf because we were trying to golf. Then after we were listening to 941 and they started debating about it. So let me just pull up Reese Hoskins and then
I'll pull it up right here. I have the team stats pulled up.
here you pull up. Can you pull up Hoskins and I'll pull up like Harper?
Yeah.
So I'll
So
I'll read Bryce Harper's first, just so we're gonna compare
mm,
Hoskins to Trey Turner.
to Harper, compare them all together.
Yeah, let me just get let me go on real because you can just compare stats on there.
I'll pull this up right now. Actually, if you just
Yeah.
read off Harper, I'll read off. So this season, he's been hitting 265, which is all right. He has 9 home runs. That's pretty good. 35 RBIs. He's top 30 in the league in RBIs, and he is has a 815 OPS, which is top 50. So
Yes.
he's playing all right. I mean, not
But
superstar or
that's
anything.
good though on a
He's
bad
playing
Brewers team.
on a yeah. It's a bad team. Let's check their record real quick. They are
They're not the best, but
they're
they've been on a
33.
7 game win streak. I think
33 and 28. So that is
they did just
they're
go on a ridiculous streak because of him because he was hitting
they
bombs.
did, yeah. They won. Oh, they won their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games,
Oh, did
including
they win
yesterday.
yesterday? I didn't know if they won yesterday.
They beat the Reds yesterday. They played
Okay.
the Cincinnati again
So
at
I was at the
7:10.
gym on the treadmill and I saw they started playing and I never checked up on it.
They're third in
But
in NL Central right now, behind St. Louis and Chicago.
Bryce Harper's OPS 825, so he has the advantage on him in that. 267 average, which is barely better.
That's not that good,
Like
honestly.
straight up one hit, and then Hoskins has a better average. Which I
hmm
don't hate the average. The averages aren't that bad. It's just comparing. Slugging, he has 450, Hoskins 455.
hmm
This is all with Hoskins having less at bats, by the way.
Yeah,
On base percentage, he has 375. Hoskins has 360.
that's only a little
RBIs,
bit better again.
Hoskins has more to 35 to Harper's 33.
He's one of the premier RBI guys. He's top 30. Hoskins is top 30 in the MLB right now. So that's 45. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And then where is it? Have we gone over homers yet? Let me see. Hoskins
Homers.
has 9 homers to Harper's 8. That's a $300 million guy, and he only has 8 home runs. That's disgraceful. So if you're gonna say Hoskins isn't worth trading for, then you shouldn't say Harper's worth playing.
Honestly, Harper, I think his playing is worth more than his stats on the field. I think just his presence, being in the dugout and
Yeah, but
helping
he
out
can
with
do
the
that in
team.
left field.
He could, yeah. We do need a first baseman.
And they compared it like my before we go to Trey Turner, my thing is like you've been saying, F defense since 2022. But now you're gonna stop for Reese Hoskins when you're playing Trey Turner every day, when you're playing Nick Castellanos every day? I mean, the farthest we went, wait, Mike's falling down. The farthest we've went with this core was with Reese Hoskins, Schwarber in left field, Harper DHing, and Hoskins playing first base defense.
And
In
Turner not on the
October,
roster.
in October, you don't hate to have some defense, sure.
Obviously, Hoskins has gotten a little bit older in that time. He's not as good as he was,
Yeah, but
definitely,
sure, but like
in
in
Phillies uniform.
October, offense plays.
Who would we trade for Reese Hoskins? You didn't talk about
I
that.
think you could give up. I don't think you'd have to give too much, really. I don't know what a package would look like. But you probably have to give up like maybe a mid tier prospect, and then I know picks aren't very valuable, so that doesn't really matter.
Do you think we would have to give up a starter in the top 9 or a pitcher?
No, I
Okay.
think you could give up like you could give up. I would have to pull up the prospect pool, but like one of those mid tier guys. Maybe not someone from the pigs, but maybe like a. I wouldn't even mind giving up like a Joe Ross, even though your bullpen's already bad. Throw him for a sweetener, a little mid-tier prospect, and then maybe some cash going to the Brewers. I'm not the baseball genius. I don't have like a
Mhm.
specific trade
That a
package.
trade like that could be worked out with some really good prospects for
Well, like
Hoskins.
you never know. So let's look at Trey Turner, who has been horrible defensively, but yet you've said his bat will come through.
I have
Hoskins
been
more
saying that
OP.
before.
Hoskins better OPS. Turner better average, but that's like what Turner does. He's
He's hitting
top
290.
20. He's top 20 in that.
He's good at getting on base.
Diggs check OBP. Okay. Which Hoskins has a better one of. Okay. 360 to 358 on base percentage, better slugging 455 to 423, more RBIs, 10 more in fact. Hoskins 35, 25 for Turner,
Turner.
obviously more stolen bases, more hits, but more home runs, 9 to 5 in Hoskins' favor. And then obviously more triples and doubles for Turner. More walks for Hoskins, more strikeouts, obviously. But like that's what you get.
That 5 home runs and 25 RBIs, that is not good for someone who you consider to be your second best player.
That's
It
why I think you just take this swing on Hoskins, bring him back, get the offense, and just say if it doesn't work out,
rejuvenate us.
you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I accidentally just closed down my notes. But yeah, that's that combo because it's really not much to say. I don't know how. What's your opinion? Do you think they should, or would you stay away? Because you could
I think they.
also, sorry, but like real quick, it's not like you can't go get Hoskins and then also go get that bullpen you need. It's not like Hoskins is going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, for sure. He's obviously older, so it wouldn't take as much to bring him over. So I think some good prospects. I think he would just redo. He would change things up for the lineup, which is going to
Yeah,
be
that's
good.
what's up.
I think a change of scenery is going to be good for everyone. Having someone else to help him out, especially an experienced veteran who's played in the bank a lot. It's not
Yeah,
going to hurt, you know.
and
And
I
he's a
think
fan
he's still
favorite too.
popular
He's going to put butts
within
in
the
seats.
guys.
His
Yeah,
first game is going to it might be sold out. And it's a lot of
no,
people are going
I'm
to be
gonna
there.
go if he comes back.
I would go too. It would be
I
electric.
still have my Hoskins jersey, dude. It still
His
fits me. I
his
still have it in my closet.
his first at bat will be legendary if this does happen.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to talk
Which,
about Rojas
yeah,
versus Marsh in center field? Who
yeah,
would you
that's
rather
an
have as a center
interesting
fielder?
battle. Is there a good winner? Is there a good outcome of that? I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
go. I mean,
All right, yeah, yeah. So I think I would rather have Rojas. I have the stats up right here. Rojas is hitting about 330 more than at average. Rojas is hitting 250. Marsh hitting
yeah. Marsh
220.
has been very, very disappointing.
But yeah, of course. He's probably one of the best players on the team when he hasn't been that good this year. In the last couple of years, he's been better. He hasn't been as good this year. And Rojas taking a big step up with hitting this year, and he's a lot younger too. I think Rojas should be in the lineup a lot. Just get him more reps at bats. I mean, he's gonna be
His
good. I think
defense is something I
it's
envy. He's
beautiful.
better
Yeah,
at
it's
playing
beautiful.
defense than I am at doing a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, just a ball out to center field. He's gonna find a way to catch it.
Like
He's
I was at that
very
game
talented.
when they played the Braves in 2023, that game where they closed them out and he made that catch in center field. My view was a little blocked, so I didn't know. But then I saw him catch. I was like, no way. He
hmm
just made that leaping grab and then got banged into the boards and still kind of held on.
I was at his
His
first game against San Diego when they weren't here. they brought him up,
You
and
been on
he.
you been on the Rojas
I've
train
I've
for
been
a
on him since his
while.
first game. I saw him. He was very talented. I like him. If he
I
could
will
get his hitting
applaud
even
you
a
for
little more
that.
up, he's going to
You
be
were
one of
sending
the.
me pictures from the Iron Pigs games saying this is our guy.
Yeah, I was doing that, and back when we had Jake Cave too. Too bad
I
he's
don't know.
gone. I
You're
love
you're
that guy.
kind of right about Rojas a little bit, but I don't know about Jake Cave.
I was obsessed with him.
I hated him. I'm not a big Rojas guy. My dad's a huge Rojas fan. I just don't. I think I get the hitting's improved, but my I just stuttered. Wow, God, like a broken record over here. My brain's been fried from thinking about everything between this and hockey and the Flyers, and so sorry
Mhm.
sorry for the stutters.
Baseball definitely takes a like it's not front of mind during the NBA playoffs and
Yeah,
the
so
NHL.
right now that was what the stutters have been going on, but
Maybe in mid June when the NBA and
yeah,
NHL calm down, this is going to be front of mind again.
yeah, but
And
like
we get a whole couple months of this before college and
my
NFL start.
my preferred, sorry for cutting you off, but like my preferred option at the center is someone not on the Phillies major league roster, and I brought this up in our pre-show. I think it's Justin Crawford. I think he can do. I think he can hang in there defensively if not be a good defensive center fielder, and he's hitting 340 in AAA. He's dominating. He has a power. He has a speed. He has a contact. He has everything to put it together and go play in the MLB. Even if it's just for like a 3 game homestand against like a not great team, just to see what he can do.
Hmm. Let me pull
And
up
I
his
would love to
splits
see
real
him do
quick.
that because I think Justin Crawford's really, really good. Like I collect sports cards, right? And I was at the Philly show and I was like, I have to get a good graded Justin Crawford card because I'm really high on him and I think he could be the answer. Just because I don't know if Rojas is going to consistently do it, I don't know if he's going to do it in the postseason. And when we brought up Rojas, he was like 23. Why can't we do the same thing with Crawford? We don't have to wait till he's 25. Like that's something with the Phillies that pisses me off. They wait forever to elevate guys. Either they wait too long or they wait too little to bring up guys.
Hmm.
So I kind of want to get your thoughts before we move on to Alvarado and that whole situation. What your thought is on bringing him up and trying him out.
I mean,
You
I
might
think
have to
all
back to the Hoskins thing. You could just give up Marsh and then figure center field out.
give up Marsh and some cash. I think that's always good.
Marsh,
I think,
Cash, and then maybe a bad prospect that you don't give a f about,
mhm.
like
Yeah,
someone in Clearwater.
I also think what was I gonna say? I think a position battle is always going to help out both sides of the situation. Obviously, if
Yeah,
Rojas loses, that means we have someone really good coming up, and if Rojas wins, it gives Crawford opportunity to compete with a major
yeah,
leaguer and to show his worth and to come back hungry next time that there's a position battle anywhere. And he's gonna
yeah.
look. I mean, he's gonna look good. He's the best player in the High Valley. I mean, I think he's good. He has some potential for sure.
I love him. I have a few guys, whether it's Flyers, Sixers, prospects that I'm just like 100% nailed on, and he's one of my guys.
Mhm.
Like for the Flyers, it's Bjarnason, it's Barkey, it's Bonk. For the Phillies, it's Justin Crawford, and I think he has all the tools. But last thing of the Phillies, I promise. This is I warned you at the beginning of the episode. Whoever's watching this, if anyone's watching this, maybe it's my dog who's watching this, but it's gonna be a little longer. We're at 20 minutes now. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna cut it short. We're gonna talk everything in depth. So it's gonna be like maybe a very, very long episode. We're gonna
Mhm.
try to maybe
Just stick it
constrain
out.
it a little bit just for our sakes.
So let's stop with the
But
Phillies now. Let's move on to the
yes,
Flyers or Sixers, wherever you want to
but
go.
it's gonna be a little bit of a longer episode. But before we move on from the Phillies, what's your thoughts on Alvarado and him getting suspended?
Obviously, steroid. When you have a player doing steroids, you're not going to be happy about it. I'm not happy with him. I mean,
I thought the punishment was a little harsh.
I think steroids they have no place in the game today. I think if you find someone doing it, it's like I
But
think
I think
steroids
for a
have.
first time offense, it should be like 30, not 80.
I think you got to give them a lesson. If you do steroids, you're not going to do steroids again. I mean, I
Yeah, but it
think
was a first time offense, and it was a weight loss thing.
if he was gambling, I think he would have been kicked out of the league.
It was
But
a weight loss thing. That's what pissed me off. It was weight loss he didn't know. So I think it should just be like 50 games and postseason still in play. Just
I
test them
mean,
more regularly.
of course, there should be regular
That's what I
testings.
would do.
I also think that every league is they're like a culprit of this, but having PEDs being like worse. No, gambling being worse than PEDs. I think
Mm.
there's too much of a penalty on gambling. They take gambling too seriously. I mean, there have been guys. Who's the guy? There's one of the guys on the Colts. He was a safety, and he just got kicked off the team. He was caught
Wait,
gambling.
who was
He's on
that?
the
Who was
he's on
that?
the Eagles now. He's on the Eagles
It was
now.
Rogers. It was Rogers, right?
Isaiah Rodgers, yeah, he was one of the Colts' best players. He was one of the best safeties. He got
He
kicked
was
off the
good for
team
us
because he
too.
was gambling. Yeah, and
He's with
he
the
goes to the
he's with the
Eagles.
Vikings now.
Yeah, he goes to the Eagles. He was really good on the Eagles last
He
year
just
or a
he
few
just
years
signed
ago.
with the Vikings.
I mean, it's just bad. You shouldn't have like
Yeah,
if it's not on your team, you should be able to gamble. I think it's
I
kind
agree
of
with that.
stupid.
But with the PED thing, with it was his first time offense. He didn't know. I thought it was a little harsh. Now it really screws us 'cause now we have to go trade for a bullpen guy. Maybe a
hmm
Aroldis Chapman might become available on the White Sox. That might be a little pricey, but I think you do it. That's like a
I think
World
yeah,
Series winner.
you have to go out on a little stretch because the Phillies right now with this roster, they're not winning a World Series. I think
Well,
that's
you know
placed.
what pissed me off is like
You got to make some
you
big
you
changes.
believed in your bullpen and you let Estevez and Hoffman both go, and then you just said, "Oh, we're good with Jordan Romano." So you got to go get someone at the trade deadline.
Romano kind of sucks too. He's not. I don't like
He hasn't
Romano.
been. He's been inconsistent as hell. You know who
hmm
else has been inconsistent? Hoffman. No, not Hoffman. Strom.
Yeah, Matt Strom. He's.
Same thing with my boy Kirkering. He's my favorite reliever. I think he's gonna be really really good.
I like
He just
Chris.
hasn't been the best this year.
hmm
But
I
that's
mean,
enough.
honestly, the
Oh
bullpen
wait,
is
sorry.
holding the bullpen's holding the team back. I think you have to make some big changes in the bullpen
1,000%.
if you want to be a contender for the World Series.
And they can.
Which this team's roster is definitely a contender,
I
but
think
that bullpen's got to take a step up.
my oh, my moves for the trade deadline is I think Hoskins or a bat, a cheaper bat like Hoskins or someone else, and then go get like 3 or 4. One of them being like a big time bullpen guy, and then two
hmm
other setup guys.
One that costs money but can get strikes and can get
I
outs
think trading for Aroldis Chapman might be the move because he can
and
throw 103.
a
He's
consistent player.
consistent. He knows the playoffs. He's very intense too.
Yeah.
But that's enough, Phillies. We
All
talked
right.
about that for 22 minutes. Now we're gonna get into your wheelhouse in the Philadelphia 76ers.
All right. Great. So
They
first of
got
all,
lucky. Wait, let's just do a little. Sorry, let's do a little just overview. They got lucky as hell in the trade and the what was it, draft lottery.
yeah, third
They
pick.
got pick number 3. We're gonna go over them, their options at number 3, what we both think they should do, some trade possibilities with that pick. Will Dylan Harper fall? We don't know. Will the Spurs trade out of that pick? We don't know. Some free agency things with Quentin Grimes being an RFA and
What to do with Paul
Yabusele.
George and Joel Embiid too? That
Will
should be a
Embiid
topic.
and Georgia Maxey? Obviously, I think they're gonna. They said they're gonna run that back definitely. They
I
are
don't know
like
if Embiid.
concrete. They
I don't know if
concrete
Embiid's gonna
said
play
that,
next year.
but I think he will. But we'll get into that. Will they play? How will they play? Our expectations, and then just some other trades possibility that we've heard. So
Mm-hmm.
let's start. Pick number 3. The 3 guys right now in the top 3 is like obviously Flag,
Flag's gonna
but
be
like
number one. He's gonna go to Dallas.
there's a tier. There's tiers in this draft where it's like 4 guys in like the elite category. That's Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, and VJ Edgecombe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even put
So
Edgecombe outside of that, but that's just me.
Edgecombe's who's the guy from Baylor, and then Harper and Bailey. They were both from
And Rutgers
Rutgers.
together. And
I think. Who do you think is gonna go to the Spurs? Do you think the Spurs are gonna stay and pick one of them? Give
but
give.
another thing with the Sixers, they could also trade the pick.
Mm,
A lot of people have been saying that. We'll go over some of the things I've heard and I disagree with. But with the Spurs, it's where the draft starts. Mavs already said they're not moving out of number 1.
they're gonna take Cooper.
They're
It's
gonna
basically a
take Coop.
done deal.
And if they don't take Coop, then I mean, come on.
That'd be stupid.
You're passing up on another cold white boy. That's crazy racist.
Yeah.
But The Spurs they could trade. The thing is, we can't really talk too much about this draft without knowing what Giannis wants to do.
Hmm. Yeah, if he tries to go, he
Because
might try to go to San
if
Antonio.
he wants to leave Milwaukee, it's San Antonio.
Team up with Wemby and then have a veteran like Chris Paul give
Like
him
I
the ball.
sent you a trade
I think you did
for,
a
and
couple
I
of
thought it
times.
was pretty fair. Let me pull it up. But I thought it was pretty fair. It was between the Bucks and the Spurs, and you could do all that without having to get rid of Stephon Castle.
Hmm.
So the Spurs give up number 2, a first round of 2026, which is a swap possibility with Atlanta, a second, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, and Devin Vassell. All great young players, but you're getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like,
John, he's MVP a couple years ago. He's a top five player in the league.
like that's the trade.
He's a consistent NBA he's a consistent MVP candidate, and he's gonna be a good mentor
You
for
give up
Wembanyama.
2 first round picks and those players for
Hmm.
Giannis,
And
especially
he,
when he's not too old to the point where you have to worry about that too much, and you still would have Wemby, Castle, and then pick at 14.
hmm yeah,
So that's the move. But like, there's 2 routes you go when you talk about this draft, and we could even just pull up a mock draft right now and go. But with number 2, they could trade it for Giannis. They could stay on and pick Harper, Bailey, Edgecombe, even. But do they pick Harper with the guards that they have?
I think Harper is probably gonna be picked before Bailey out of those two
Yeah,
kids from Rutgers. They're
yeah.
both exceptional
You
players.
never know
They
'cause
weren't good enough.
they need a forward a lot more than they need a guard in San Antonio.
They weren't they weren't good enough to get Rutgers in the tournament, obviously.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
that
because
whole team was
everybody else
horrible
at
besides
Rutgers
that.
kind of stuff. They had two really good players. But yeah, I think they need a forward. Bailey is the forward they would need. Let me check his stats. He's 6'8",
Who
Harper's six
San
five.
Antonio, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah, yeah.
Milwaukee.
And us too.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking about Sixers. But continue, like
Sixers have
we
enough
don't
guards
know.
as it is. Yeah, Sixers have
They
enough
have
good guards.
Castle, they have Vassell, Johnson, I think could play a little 2 guard.
Chris Paul, of
Keldon,
course.
Chris Paul, but I think he's gonna get. He's a free agent, so I think he's gonna leave.
Oh yeah,
Um, De'Aaron Fox,
of course. He's one of the. He's.
they just traded for him. He's gonna be a great fit with Wemby.
Mhm.
Um, so that's where it's like, are they gonna pick Harper? I think their best bet's to trade it for like a Kevin Durant or Giannis.
I think trading it for Giannis is going to be good. I think KD has too much like head case, kind of like too cocky. I think Giannis he's a good guy. I think he'll elevate Wemby too and try to get Wemby to play
That's
better
fair.
and work on
Um,
Wemby. Wemby's long, he's skinny, he's going to get hurt a lot. Work on Wemby's muscle too, because
but
Giannis is he's bulky, but like strong bulky.
say real quick, just say they pick. You can't see my screen right now, right?
No,
Good. I'm not doing it. What's your if Harper goes 2? Obviously, Flag goes 1.
mm-hmm. So the
What's
top
your
two,
pick?
it would be either VJ Edgecombe for Baylor or Ace Bailey, of course, from Rutgers. I don't know. I think Bailey and Harper was a little bit overrated this year. I
Well,
think,
really?
yeah, I think VJ Edgecombe, he led a Baylor team that was also Baylor wasn't that good. They made the tournament. They were not that good of a team. I would honestly take Edgecombe over him. I mean, I think he's a good shot maker. He was a good leader to that team. I think he's they were both freshmen, of course. I just like Edgecombe more. The way he played, I think it would fit more in the Sixers offense, playing with his two guards, McCain and Maxey. I think he would complement
Okay.
them in a good way. I think Bailey is like too ball dominant almost, and you have all those other good players. I think Edgecombe would fit in good as like a really good role player.
Okay. For me, the pick, my ideal pick at least, is not VJ Edgecombe. I think it is Ace Bailey. I think the ceiling's there. I think he can help you now a little bit. I think he can. His shot making is really where it gets me, being like, oh, his shot making. He takes some bad shots. You can work on that. You can work on his handle a little bit, but he's underrated with his handle. But you can't teach talent, and that's what he has.
Mhm.
So for me, I think it's Ace Bailey. Dude, I'm just trying to pull up his stats, fans post. Stop making Cooper Flag go number 3. Hold on, let me get his stats. Because
That's
I think his
crazy.
shot making's good. I think he can play make. I think his defense you can develop a little bit. I like his size. I think he's more of a positional fit. And then and then I think he can help out now with Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, McCain. And then if this year you get them all healthy and Maxey and Embiid and George all play together with Bailey,
Oh,
and they
timeout, timeout,
suck.
timeout. Tom Thibodeau just got fired.
No way.
Yeah, I just got the alert.
No way! Hold on. We gotta put a whoa. Whoa. We gotta put this
Big
on
news.
pause. We gotta put this on pause for a second and talk about that.
Wow.
I
I
didn't
don't think that
expect
was the right
that.
move. I
Yeah,
don't.
right
I,
here.
I do not think
Shams.
that was the right move. I think getting rid of the cat was the right move. Trading cat for a good
Hold
wing or
on.
something.
No way.
Wow.
I was about to yap about Ace Bailey. Nice catch. God. Yeah, right here. Shams Sharani. I can screen share it too. Hold on. Let me pull up the tweet and then we can talk about it. No way. That
To
was
pull it up.
not. On YKB, the app.
Yeah. I've been doing those.
Yeah, I know. You've been responding to my ones about Hayden Halliburton. Um, they did one about Tibbs and that whole thing.
I said they weren't going to fire him. I did not think they were going to
Same.
fire him.
I didn't think they should. I didn't think they should have traded Cat either. I thought they should have worked something out. Hold on. Let me screen share. Hold on. How do I screen share? I know there's a way. Share. Your camera's back. Yeah. Okay. Screen right here. Okay. All right. Everything good? You can see the tweet.
Shams, yeah. That's. I think he elevated that Knicks team from being bottom of the day to the top 4 or 5
It's
team.
official. 4 minutes ago, Shams Sharani. The Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach. Sources tell ESPN. He led the Knicks to their first conference finals in 25 years, made playoffs 4 or 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus wins, first time since the 90s.
2 times to the conference semifinals and once the final. I do not think that was a good idea.
The Knicks are slightly, according to Shams or Shams or however the hell you say it, the Knicks are singularly focused on their pursuit of a championship and believe a new voice will serve as the focus of the organization's next step. After 5 years with the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau is out as head coach. So there's a few
Well,
things to unpack with that. One, do you think it was a good move? Two, who will they bring in? Mike Malone.
yeah, maybe Doc
3,
Rivers.
where does Tibbs get another job? Let's start. Was it a good move? I don't think so.
I don't think. I think the core of that team was their defense. Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby. They're all great defenders. I think he's a defensive coach. Say that.
Yes.
I think having that team hardworking and good defense, it's a good core of the team. I really like. I mean, I didn't
This is
like
the
them as a
first
team.
breaking news I've had.
I thought it was good to see. Yeah, I think he was a good coach. I think what they should have done, they should have hired like an offensive coordinator almost, like you have in football,
Yeah.
but have someone who specialized in offense. Because their offense wasn't really that good. But
Should
I
have
think,
hired me. I know a lot
yeah,
about offensive ball.
hire them, have someone with Brunson running it, have, utilize Cat a lot more with that drive. And OG had a great drive too. Utilize Mikal Bridges more. They weren't really doing a lot with him all
Yeah.
series. But I think there are a lot of people who are good offensive minds. It could have helped him, and they could have done like something where he ran the offense and then Tibbs ran the defense. He
Yeah,
seems a
I
good.
didn't love it. I don't love this move at all, really. I think he's a good coach.
I think you
I
make a
think
change. You make a change with Karl Anthony Towns. You trade
I
him
think you
out
make a
for
change with
someone else
players.
good.
There's one part of Tibbs's games I didn't love, where It was obviously the minutes. I don't love how he does the minutes, but that's not enough to fire him.
Hmm. Yeah. So who do you want to see as the
I
replacement?
think it has to be Michael Malone.
Mike Malone, yeah. I'm
I,
just looking through the comments of this. Mike Malone, he's probably gonna be the coach. Maybe Doc Rivers if they want to be idiots.
Doc
As a
Rivers.
Sixers fan, we would like that.
Don't do that if you're a good organization.
Mm,
Just real quick.
1 second. I have to go off camera for a second. We keep talking. I just have to go off camera. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, can you hear me now? The recording just stopped.
No.
Okay, my recording it just stopped for me. It just reset. 1 sec. There was an issue with my storage, I think. I have to clear up some storage real quick. I don't know what that is. Oh, keep talking to me though. I can still talk. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
We can just keep talking. I'm just gonna be off camera.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think we're cool. I think. But that's crazy. I think you should have made a change with the players. I think Mike Malone's the next coach.
Hmm.
I just don't. I didn't expect it.
I did not expect that as well. I think they should have kept him for another year or two. I think he would. He's a coach that took this team out of the ashes and he made them a national contender.
Yeah, just real quick, we'll wrap up. Maybe we'll go live after this episode and talk about more. I mean, wow.
Wow, yeah,
Where
big
does he
win. Especially
go?
just
Does he get another job?
a couple weeks. I don't. Is anyone who's hiring?
Someone's definitely
Denver.
hiring.
Denver, maybe.
No,
I don't think Denver
they
would want him.
didn't they hire the interim?
Oh, they hired him full time.
I think so.
Um, I don't. I couldn't think of another team hiring a coach right now. I don't know.
Let me look up.
Maybe he goes down to college.
I think Phoenix Suns need a coach. I know the Spurs already hired their interim.
I don't think he would work good with Kevin Durant and Bradley
Suns
Beal.
Suns are opening higher jobs. Yeah, I think it's just the Suns.
Yeah, and right now they're down to the Cavs assistant right now.
Cause
I don't think he would be a good fit with Kevin
cause
Durant and
Nuggets
Bradley
already
Beal.
hired someone, Memphis already hired someone, Spurs already hired someone, Sacramento already hired someone. Yeah,
I don't like him in Phoenix.
I don't either.
He's not a
Maybe
good
he
fit
just
with
takes a
KD.
year off and waits for guys to get fired.
Maybe he goes down to college.
Yeah,
There's probably some big, probably a Power 4 or 5 school that
because
needs a coach.
Maryland, I don't think has a coaching yet.
You could go there, yeah. Because their coach went
Because
to
he left
Villanova.
for Nova.
Lillard. Yeah, let me look at the college basketball openings. Uh, all these are really small schools.
Who did Maryland get? Because that would be a good fit.
Buzz Williams.
Oh yeah. Mm. Well, we'll see. I don't know if he gets a job. I don't know if he goes as assistant somewhere. I don't know if one of the guys who just got hired gets demoted.
Buzz
I don't
Williams from
know.
Texas A&M. Let me see. Power. UC Riverside. Maybe no, it's too small. It's all really small schools.
Maybe he ends up just waiting until someone gets fired next year.
Yeah.
A real.
Iowa. Did Iowa rehire a coach? They fired Fran. No, they have a coach. Oh, West Virginia. Will Wade. He went to IU.
Mm.
No, he went to NC State.
So we'll see. It's gonna. I don't even have like a place. I don't love him in Phoenix, but he might just go there because it's a job,
Mm-hmm.
and it might just get him because it's like, oh, big name coach. I think KD's gonna get traded anyway, so that you don't have to worry about that fit.
Hmm.
But I don't know if he fits with Booker.
He wouldn't be going to a big school unless one of these big Power Five schools hired their coach. I think New Mexico might be hiring because Richard Pitino. No, they have a coach already too. Yeah, I he wouldn't be going to a big Power Five school.
It's a bad time to get fired.
Mhm. If
You
he would
gotta
have get
hope
fired, he should have done it in April.
you gotta hope somebody gets fired soon, like randomly out of the blue.
Hmm.
Or I
Maybe he
think
just
he might
becomes
just go.
an
He might
analyst
just
for a
go to
little while.
Phoenix. He might just go
Yeah,
to Phoenix because it's his job.
yeah, he wouldn't be a good fit with that team at all, though.
No, but he's gonna go there because it's his job.
Yeah.
100%. Why do I remember the Bucks firing a coach?
Did
They
they?
fired Rivers. I don't think that would be the worst fit ever.
He's the current coach in Milwaukee. It's still Rivers. He didn't get fired. He's gonna
Oh,
be
I
fired
thought he
soon.
did.
It feels like he did. He's always getting fired from somewhere.
Why? Why would they keep him?
I don't know. They
Why did
wonder
they
why they
fire the other coach for him anyway?
couldn't tell
Whatever.
you.
So yeah, that's the breaking news of Tom Thibodeau getting bounced.
Wow.
Um, Now we're at 41 minutes, so we'll real quickly wrap up the Sixers and then hit the Eagles, and then and then we can hit the Flyers.
Sure. So did you do
Back
a
on
Super
track.
Bowl? Do you even go to Super Bowl real quick? Just to talk about that.
I just want to hear. I just want to hear what you have to say about Ace Bailey and VJ Edgecombe real quick, and then I'll say my thing, and then we can move on to the Eagles.
Okay, so we were talking about Edgecombe. I think he's going to be a better fit with the Sixers with their, because you need a bigger guy down low. I just think he's going to be good because I don't think Embiid's going to come back. I don't think Paul George, if he does come back, Paul George isn't going to be the same Paul George we saw in Indy. I don't think. I think the heart of this team is going to be McCain and Maxey in the backcourt. I think you're just going to need someone to do the dirty work up close to the rim. I think he's good enough to play up there. I don't want another wing. I want someone who can play down low. I
Really?
guess. Yeah.
I want another win, and I think Ace Bailey has all the intangibles being an NBA star. I think his ceiling's great. I think a lot of NBA players see it. His field goal percentage wasn't great at a 46%. That's what you're going to get with the rookie. His shot making's incredible. Stock selection, not so much. I like his ball handling. I like his work. I like how he can maybe develop the playmaking a little bit. He got 7.2 rebounds a game last year, averaged 17.6 points. But you go down and you see, you know, his dream fits us. He can play a little bit of both forward positions. Um, and in the games, oh, another underrated thing is his vision.
He does
I
have good
like his
vision.
vision. I think he could be a little bit more of an athlete, I guess. But one thing about Bailey that stood out to me when I was researching him, I really haven't researched too much. I've researched more for hockey than anything. Was when Harper was out, he scored 30 plus in both those games where Harper wasn't there. So when you needed him to go be the guy that scored, he went and did that. And that's really my whole thing with him, and that's why I think he's the perfect fit. Fits positionally. I think he could be very, very good in the future. I think he's very, very good now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then one last thing to touch on for the Sixers, we don't have to talk about it for forever. They need to bring back Quentin Grimes no matter how much it costs.
He's good. Yeah. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't a
He's an
very good team.
RFA, so you can just qualify him and then
You want to talk
match
about
whatever
Embiid?
offer.
You want to talk about Embiid real quick about if he wants to stay
Yeah,
or
I
not?
think he'll be fine. I think
You
he'll
think he'll be
play.
fine? I think he's
I
not.
think he'll be. I'm
If he
really
does play,
confident
he's
in the
gonna get
Sixers team.
injured and he's gonna have to retire. I don't. I don't see Embiid having another full,
I'm really
even more
confident
than
for
20
next year.
game season.
I think Maxi's going to come back, be a stud. Same with McKean. I think Paul George is going to find his Clipper days again. I think Embiid is going to
It's too
find
much
that
hope.
MVP level again.
It's
I
not
really
gonna.
do. I think it's all going to gel next year. I think they're going to be healthy. I think it's all going to work out. They're going to be a contender.
I'm saying 30 wins next year.
Really.
How much you saying?
I don't have a win total. enough to be a top 5 seed in the East.
I could see him maybe
I think
not
they're
even
going to
making
be a
the playoffs.
really good team. I think they're going to get gel, and I think it's going to all work out, especially if they pick East Bailey.
I'm tired of having all this hype. They have the names on the roster to be good. They don't have the
I
they
think
don't
it's
have
all
the
going to work
current
out.
talent.
I
I
do.
don't know. Okay, I'll just go to the Eagles.
All right. 45 minutes in, we're finally hitting the most popular sports team in Philly, the Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone knows Super Bowl champions beat the Chiefs' ass. But
Whooping.
the one thing I do want to talk about with the Eagles is three things: Madden cover, Huff get traded, and draft. What did you think of the Eagles draft?
I thought it was excellent how he got a player that should have been like early 20s player at the 31st pick. John Campbell, he was good. He was an anchor of a really good defense in Alabama. Obviously, didn't.
Injuries got him to fall.
Yeah, injuries obviously, but him and Deontay Lawson, they kind of held down that middle linebacker position. I think he's gonna be a good court. Eagles historically, of course, have not had good linebackers except for like
No.
this past
Well,
year.
last year, and then
Who do they have this
Dean
year?
and Bond this year, and
Ball in
then
this year, of course. But I think he's gonna be
Dean was good too. He just got
well,
hurt.
playing middle of the field. I think this Eagles defense is gonna be one of the best defenses in the NFL again next year. I don't have them making the Super Bowl. I think they're good enough. I think some freak shit's gonna happen again next year. They have to
Madden curse.
cover Madden curse maybe. I don't think Saquon. I think Saquon will get hurt. I think Jalen will have a little step down. But I think it's a very good team. I think they should go to the NFC Championship. I'll give you my predictions after you analyze
Okay.
the.
I like the draft. I like my favorite pick was probably Makuba, the safety in the second round. I think it was from Texas. I think he can fill in that CJ Garner Johnson sized hole in our hearts. I think him and Cindy Brown will have an interesting competition and both play really well. Maybe I'm biased, but I have us repeating. I think Campbell's going to get healthy. I think Dean's going to get healthy. I think it's all going to
They,
work out, and they
they
still have the
definitely have
same
the talent
coaches.
to repeat.
I think they will. I don't think the Madden curse is a real freaking thing. I don't think that's real. I think Saquon's still going to be Saquon. He's not going to get hurt or any of that.
Hmm.
What's your
Okay.
matchup? What's your Super Bowl matchup?
So I've actually done the last three
And
teams.
also, wait, real quick. By the way, later, Marcus will come on later this week, maybe Thursday or Friday or Sunday or Saturday. We'll do a college football thing, and maybe I think we'll probably go a little more in depth later in the summer about the Eagles. Just right now,
We're
I
gonna
go.
be doing football all the whole summer. We're
Yes,
gonna be doing football,
he's
and
gonna
I
be.
have.
Because I'm sick of doing these alone. He's not a co-host yet. He has to come on a few more shows and do it
Yep.
every week with me. I'm gonna start uploading every week, once or twice every week. He will be on later this summer a lot. Talk about the whole NFL and the Eagles. Just right now, we're kind of just going.
In college
See,
football, he's
we're at an hour episode basically right now, and
hmm
I do want to talk about the Flyers and Mark's. I know Mark's
I'm
doesn't
not a
know
hockey
much
guy.
about the Flyers, so I think he wants to know what I think about the
Hmm.
Flyers, so
I,
he knows
I'm
what to think.
I'm gonna be watching the games this year
So
because
that's why
I've
I
given up
think
on
we're
school.
kind of speed running through this.
Hmm.
And we're going to our early Super Bowl predictions, which are subject to change with injuries, trades, signings, whatever. Because we don't know where Rodgers is going to go. We don't know where J.K. Dobbins is going to go still. We still don't know all that. So you go ahead.
Okay, so in the AFC, I think so. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're gonna be up there. They're going to the AFC Championship. They're gonna be beating the Bengals in the AFC Championship. I
You hear
think
what you say?
Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship. I think the Bengals win it. I think Chiefs have been out the
I
top
thought you
too
said
long.
Colts for a second. I was about to be like,
I
what?
wish. I don't think the Colts are gonna. I don't. I think as long as Anthony Richardson is the Colts quarterback, they're not going anywhere. So I think Bengals beat the Chiefs,
We'll
and then
talk about that later in the summer, okay?
I have an interesting team for you in the NFC. I have the Eagles going, of course, and then I have the NFL MVP Bryce Young
Oh
coming
my
in,
God, yes! I love Bryce Young.
coming
Hold
in
on.
to beat the Eagles at the link and go to the Super Bowl where the
Wait,
Bengals will
hold
win.
on.
But Bryce Young is
Bryce
my
Young.
MVP in the NFL.
Hold on.
I
Wait,
think they got Tutorial McMillan or whoever from Arizona
wait, you
or
don't know
Lions
how much I
McDonald.
love Bryce Young.
I've
Hold
loved him
on.
since he was at Bama. He is very talented. I think his arm talent.
Hold on.
He's gonna look.
So
He looks Mahomes, like kind of
you
like
know
Mahomes.
how I have been collecting sports cards and I'm a little bit addicted?
Yeah.
Well, my first player I've ever really started truly collecting is Bryce Young. So look at these. I got Stellar
Oh, Mary jumped up.
Mary. I got this Stellar Rookies. I got for like $10. Is like $38 card. I got all these Bryce Youngs. This one you like? It's like a
Bama, yeah.
Bama. It's really cool.
Kind of disappointed at Bama, but it wasn't his
I
fault.
have a Funko Pop of his
Saban was too old.
unopened right there.
Open it right now.
I
Open it
have
when he wins the
so
MVP.
many. I have a case of cards. I have a whole row of Bryce Young got ones. I have a case of cards at my shore house full of Bryce Young, a row. I have a whole binder of his base cards that I have collected.
He's a good kid.
Look,
He's fun to watch. He's
all these Bryce Youngs. Anytime my dad opens packs, like after he got benched, I believed in him before that too. By the way,
that getting benched. That was key
when
for him.
he got
I think
benched,
he takes a big
my
step up
dad
this
was
year.
opening cards because we were in Maryland for something. Like, if you get any Bryce Youngs, they're mine. He's like, okay, I don't really care. He sucks. He's my guy. So I'm very happy you
Mhm.
said that. We're gonna break down most of the teams. We might go by division per episode in the summer.
We could do that. Yeah, yeah.
But like they're my dark horse. I think they make the playoffs. I don't think they make the Super Bowl.
I think it's Bengals Panthers Super Bowl.
I don't
The
think
Bengals will
the
win.
Kitty Cat Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. All right,
I, I,
let's hear yours.
so mine, I think the Eagles repeat. I think they get there. I think they beat the Commanders again. I think they have
Wow.
another run.
I
I
think
think
Jay
it's the
Daniels is
same
gonna get
NFC.
hurt.
I think it's the same NFC championship. For my AFC, I haven't really thought too deeply here.
It's really one
Hot
four
take,
teams.
hot take. I don't think the Jets make it, but I think they make the playoffs.
Jets.
They make the playoffs, not the AFC championship. I think Fields is gonna have a great year. Regardless, we'll get into that later in the summer. As much as I like to say that,
I think in the AFC, it's really a one of four teams to make it. I think it's going to be Chiefs,
AFC, I'll go
Bengals,
with.
Ravens, Bills.
I'll have Bills and Ravens.
Okay, and who's winning?
I'll go with the Ravens.
Okay, so Lamar takes that
Ravens,
big step
Eagles.
up.
Eagles win.
That's
Close
a good. It's gonna be a
game.
good Super Bowl. The
Eagles
Ravens with good
repeat.
defense.
We get the rushing quarterback battle that we've all been waiting for so many years.
And of course, yeah, Lamar. He kind of owns the NFC. I think the Eagles are like one of the only teams to beat them.
It's subject to change. Okay.
Yeah.
I will
The,
change this before our last episode before we go back to school in August. I will.
okay, yeah. So we're gonna do all the NFL. We go college football conferences too. That's kind of my specialty, college
Yeah.
football.
And then obviously we'll put out, well, it might just be me for those episodes, and you could join too. More episodes like this where we cover all the Philly sports teams like Flyers, Sixers, Eagles as they make their off season. We won't go over the Eagles in our division thing. Like, our first division is probably going to be the NFC East,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just go over the other three because we know everything about the Eagles. You know everything about the Eagles. We're Eagles fans. I'm so biased. I have them repeating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
go over the
so
other ones
go on
as
to Flyers
training
now. We
camp
can
comes back.
finish up the episode.
So now, Marcus, you don't know much about this Philadelphia Flyers
Ready
team.
to
They just
learn.
hired, just to give you a little update, they fired John Tortorella. They got screwed in the draft lottery, dropping from the fourth best odds to number 6, farthest they could drop.
Mm-hmm.
They just hired their new coach, Rick Tocchet, who used to play for the Flyers. My dad's old favorite player. He was good for us. And then we traded him to Pittsburgh. Now he's back. He's a good coach. He coached in Vancouver. So I'm just gonna real quick go over some trade possibilities, goalies they could go after, how many picks they have. Just go over. Could Drew return? Bitch Marner, could that be a possibility? What goalie could they go after? Alex Lyon, Phantom's legend, could come back. We don't know. Cam York, no rumors, and 2 extensions. So pick number 6. I'll go more in depth with this by myself after I scout more. My guy is James Higgins out of Boston College. Great scorer, great center. We need a center. I think if he falls to 6, you run up to the podium and pick him.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys, like a swing and a huge swing, is Roger McQueen out of the Braden Wheat Kings in the junior leagues. He's really good. He's fast, physical, smart with the puck. He's a little smaller. He's injury prone, but if he's healthy, he could be like a MVP level guy.
On the Flyers.
And
Wow.
I can't get 1 second of talking about the Flyers without anybody dissing them. Okay, between my sister being an Oilers fan, my dad just trolling me, even though he is a Flyers fan.
Why is she an Oilers fan? Aren't the Oilers
Connor
fans?
McDavid, that's why.
in
And I don't
Canada.
blame her. I don't blame her. Whether it's my mom after I say I just need them back in the playoffs because it's so fun when they're in the playoffs and they haven't been there in 8 years, and she laughs literally. I
I
can't get, I
mean,
can't catch a break. I'll go more in depth about those prospects after I watch a few videos, watch tape, get my notepad out. Actually, I have some homework for you to do, Marcus. I want you to go. I'm gonna go in depth about the Sixers guys too, but I would like you to do some major homework on those Harper, Edgecombe,
I'm
Bailey,
not.
and then
Yeah, I'm
maybe
not.
some other dude, just some random dude, in case they do a Daryl Morey thing.
Okay.
They also have two other first round picks in this draft. Edmonton's pick, which either will be 31 or 32, depending on what happens in the series. And then they have the Colorado Avalanche pick at 22. I have no idea who they're going to pick. I think they'll trade one of the picks. They have a bunch of picks later in the draft. The draft is June 27th, and the Sixers draft is June 25th. At least that's just for the first rounds. Trade possibilities. The Dallas Stars is going to be a team where a lot of people um look and see and kind of evaluate their situation because they've been in the conference finals. I think it was 3 years in a row, and they lost all 3 times. They've lost all 3 times.
Mhm.
So this year, thank you, appreciate that, Fiona. I'm with Marcus. You're cool. It's a podcast. Oh, you're
Hi.
not on. Yeah, he said hi. Hold on, let me get a
We could
sip.
we trim that out.
Sorry, I was yapping. I needed some water bad. Um. All right. So Dallas is gonna be in place because Peter DeBoer, the head coach, has this generational goalie
The board.
named Jake Ottinger. He pulled him after the first 2 shots on goal and the first 2 goals of Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. So everyone's like, "Oh, is Ottinger happy?" Me personally, I thought that was a freaking horrible decision. I don't like cursing on here, so I can send it to professors and whatever else I have to do for my career after I'm done with hockey. So sorry about this again, stutter. But Jake Ottinger, world class goaltender. I think he might be the best goaltender in the world. He does everything right. He's I don't know how old he is, but he's on an 8-year contract with the Dallas Stars. Is he unhappy there? I think he might request out after getting pulled after 2 shots. Like if you didn't have confidence in your franchise goaltender in that situation, you don't start him.
Is
I
pulling
thought
goalies like that normal in
it's
hockey? And then
it's if they play bad, it's not normally after 2 goals, but
is
if they let up like 3 or 4 really quickly, then yes.
is it like pulling a quarterback or is it less common?
It's
More common.
I I would say so, just because I don't see a lot of people pulling their quarterbacks.
Not in the middle of a
But
game.
it's not common.
Yeah.
But like with him, he's a top goalie in the world. He's American, and I thought he was just gonna pull him to get a little spark in his players for a few minutes, or maybe just until the second period, and then put him back in at the start of the second. Well,
Hmm.
he did not do that, and it obviously wasn't their goaltending that lost them that game because Casey DeSmith, their old backup, came in there. Well, not their old backup, like the backup that is old, came in there and immediately gave up a goal. So it wasn't Ottinger's fault.
Hmm.
So is he unhappy there? And if so, I think the Flyers should do not whatever it takes to get him, but like they should do damn near whatever it takes to get him.
Yeah, because
Another
obviously
guy for
after
another guy for Dallas is a young skater who I love. He's not underrated, but he's not like regarded as a top 10 player in the world. He's more like top 15. He's younger. Jason Robertson, I'm pretty sure he's American. He produces at a high level. In that elimination game in Game 5 when they got eliminated by the Oilers, he had 2 goals. He's really good. He's fast. He's he's smart. He play makes. Marcus, I know you're a little lost, so if you want to pull up stats, you can just to get a feel for who
yeah,
he
I'm
is.
pulling it up right now. Jason Richardson. What was it?
Robertson.
What?
Robertson.
Robertson.
Yes. So he's really good. He produces. He got hurt at the end of the year. He missed some playoff games, but he produces. He's younger. He's
He's Asian.
also, if you trade for him, the big thing is you trade for his RFA rights next year, and you can tag him and then match whatever offer comes in, or trade him away again.
Yeah, he's 4 goals in the playoffs, six
In how
points,
many games? How many games did he play?
11 games and 6 points. That's
And
good.
he was hurt for those first few games.
Oh wow, yeah, and he's from California.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
Asian
he's really
American.
good. And if he's available for trade, I don't know if it's a rumor, if he's even available, but I've seen some people say, oh, if Robertson's available, Briere has to do his due diligence and go check on him 1,000%. But I don't even know if that's a real thing. But if either of those two guys, Andre or Robertson, are available, you go get them. Because
Mhm.
no matter size, no matter contract, you have money. Even though you're trying to save that money for next year because they have this ridiculous amount of money, and the free agency next year is like McDavid, Eichel, Ovi, all these ridiculously good players, but you don't know who. You can't bank on that. So if someone like those two guys are available, you go get them.
Mhm.
Another guy you could possibly trade for is Thatcher Demko. Thatcher Demko plays for Vancouver. He's had really, really good years in goal for them. However, the risk for him is he's almost 30. His deal is expiring next year. So if you trade for him, you're going to have to extend him. And he had a really, really bad knee injury.
So he's
I
banged up.
think it was last year. Horrible knee injury, very rare. Who knows? And the risk is, will he ever be the same guy you saw last year for the Canucks?
Hmm.
I think you take the risk on him. And will it cost the first round pick? You don't know. I see a lot of people like Charlie O'Connor of the PHLY Flyer Show say it will cost a first round pick, and if so, we're not doing that. That's what a lot of people say. I think you could give them Helge Grans maybe, or Adam Ginning, like one of those not great young defensemen, and maybe the Edmonton pick or the Colorado pick, and then you go get him and take the risk, and then maybe extend him.
Hmm.
Another guy that they could trade away is or trade for, sorry, is Marco Rossi. Smaller center for the Minnesota Wild. He's been on the trade block for a while. I think he's an RFA this year, restricted free agent. So if you trade for him, you sign him. But the problem with that is one, people say his size. That's some horse shit. I'm sorry. But that's horrible. He's a talented young center. Who cares about his size? The Flyers right now aren't in a position where you can not get talent for size. Charlie O'Connor, number one beat writer for the Flyers on PHOY, he said this, and I 1,000% agree with him. And he said, um, sorry, he said that if you can't not go get guys that are talented for size right now. Sure, size matters in the NHL. Sure, size matters for the playoffs. You're not a playoff team. You didn't make the playoffs this year. You did go to the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals. You didn't do that. You go
Hmm.
get this talent, and then when you're a playoff team and next year, or because say they make the playoffs this next year and they trade for Rossi, okay, then you can start building and go and get the veterans and go get the size. But right now, you just go get the talent. You don't go get the size before you go get the talent. You don't do that. So that logic of thinking for Marco Rossi is inexcusably dumb,
Okay.
horrible. It's like saying for you, oh, I love so and so. Like I love Johan Rojas, but he's too small. He's not fast enough, which obviously not true. But it would be a stupid excuse like that if he was a good hitter. Like the Reese Hoskins thing with the defense. It's a horrible, horrible excuse for a team that can't make that excuse.
Hmm.
Sorry, I got mad. Another problem with that is the reported starting point of that trade would be a young forward in Tyson Forrester and the first. And I don't know if they're willing to pay that because they just extended Forrester for 2 years, and then they also, might want to hang on to that pick for a more valuable player. Sorry for yelling. I got really, really heated with
All good.
Marco Rossi.
All
More
good.
apologizing to my family downstairs. Next thing that they could trade is obviously the picks. You never know what else you could do. And just real quick, some free agency possibilities. Claude Giroux. You know Claude Giroux. I know Claude Giroux. You behind the camera know Claude Giroux. Everyone knows who Giroux is. Flyers legend, top 10 flyer ever. Great captain. I really do miss him here. He's a free agent. If he leaves Ottawa, he could be a good fit. Good playmaking center for Mishkov. Get him the puck. Get the guys the puck. Be good in the locker room. Give him the C back. Make Couturier, instead of being the captain, be the assistant captain because we need more of those because Lawton got traded, whatever. Another guy, and it was weird because once the Maple Leafs choked, they were basically like the Sixers of the, NHL with the game sevens and losing over and over again. Just to give you a little rundown, Marcus. Mitch Marner, free agent, great player for them, kind of disappoints in the playoffs, free agent this year. He's going to be expensive. And immediately, once they got eliminated, the reports immediately came out that he was gone. Like they needed a change in Toronto, and he was definitely gone. So people were like, "How about the Flyers?" He was connected to the Flyers for a little bit. So the question is Mitch Marner a good fit for the Flyers? I say I wouldn't be mad if you pay him all that money and he comes here. I wouldn't be mad. I would be happy. Would I do it? Probably not. You don't need that big talent guy yet. You can go get that next year with that amazing free agency class. With all that money you're going to have coming off the books, you could do that next year. And I don't think he's a guy to go get. I think he's okay. He's great. However, he's not a center. You have a lot of right wingers already. You have a lot of right wingers already. He's not really filling a need. He's not exactly the youngest guy ever. I don't see it. If you're going to give him 8 years, 14 mil, are you really going to do that for him? Or are you going to wait next year and give him McDavid, if he hits free agency, offer McDavid 8 or like 5 times 16 or 20 instead? Like, are you really going to do that this year? And then I think I have some other notes real quick, and before I wrap it up, the Flyers, with their money and what happened last offseason with the Blue Jackets offer sheeting. Marcus, you know what offer sheeting is? It's in basketball too. It's like a RFA. You can throw an offer, and then the other team can match.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't really popular in the NHL. People saw it as kind of a scumbag move to do. But last year, after Edmonton made their run, they had two young defensemen, Philip Broberg and who was it? It was Broberg and I'm blanking. It was Broberg and some other young defenseman, and they lost both of them
Hmm.
because they didn't match their offer sheet, and they got picks for it, sure, but it didn't replace the talent. And obviously, it didn't matter. They're in the Cup final. But so that brings up the question, and this year it's going to be the year of the offer sheet. I think a lot more offer sheets are going to go out, and I think the Flyers are going to send out quite a few. I got two names in mind for offer sheeting. One is Matthew Nyes. He played really well for the Maple Leafs. He was one of the very few guys that stepped up for them in the playoffs. So that's the guy I think they could offer sheet, and I think the Maple Leafs will match it just because he's so valuable. But you never know. You throw it off sheet, make them lose the picks, whatever, right? If you lose the picks because you get them, cool. You got a young, good player that plays really hard and plays well. Another young guy that they could go off sheet is Mason McTavish from the Anaheim Ducks. You could offer sheet him, and even if you don't get him, you can make the Ducks overpay him, and then you could go offer sheet whoever's a free agent for them, one of their young guys next year. but he's a really good, talented young center. I'm pretty sure he plays center at least. Really good young player. He got picked highly. That's the guy I think they should offer sheet. So those are the two. And
Hmm.
right before we do our outro, we leave, and Mark's can go do and have some free will and do whatever he wants. What they're gonna do with Cam York, I don't know. You might know who Cam York is, defenseman. Played for the Flyers for like 5 years now.
I've heard of him definitely.
Yeah, American. He's an RFA this year. Will they trade him away? Will he be a trade piece in a center trade? Maybe. I don't know what they're gonna do. He's an RFA, and the Flyers had two other RFAs that I was worried about losing to offer sheets. Was Tyson Forrester, who was previously mentioned, and Noah Cates, who both just got extended. Cates, great deal. They got him for 4 years, $4 million per year. No trade protections on that. So great deal there. You got Forrester for 2 years, $4 million, I think it was, or 4 years, $2 million, or $3 million. Cheap, no trade protections, 2 years. You could go and have him prove himself. So great, but it sparks your curiosity. Like, you haven't heard any rumors about Cam York. So what the hell does that, you know,
Mhm.
entail? So that's very interesting. But overall, it's going to be a big off season for them. I'll go more in depth by myself, maybe with one of my hockey friends, going over the prospects, going over who I like, going over, draft, free agency, more rumors. And then Marks will be back on for that episode, probably for everything else. And he'll be doing the same thing,
Maybe
gathering knowledge about the
college
Flyers
football,
whenever we do that.
MLB, NFL.
Yeah. So we'll be back later this week, Sunday. Expect maybe an episode someday, Thursday through Sunday. Correct?
Just over the weekend sometime. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can do that.
And we might be doing some college football stuff. We might be doing Eagles. Doubt it will be Eagles. We might just be doing if the NBA Finals or somehow 3-0 Pacers. We'll be doing that.
We do review episodes too. If we do a college football or NFL something, we could touch on basketball too.
We don't have a set plan for that episode. Thursday in that weird little time range between Thursday through Sunday. We'll go off camera right now, and then we'll make a plan for that. You'll probably see this episode tomorrow, just so I can get the files episode out 2 days
It means on
before.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Can't say tomorrow.
Well, the 4th, no, the 5th. So that way I get my no, the 4th. We get this one out on the 4th, so that way there's more time for the finals episode to get more time. I know, Marius, you have a doctor's appointment in about an hour or two, so I'm gonna let you off the hook here.
Okay.
But thank you guys for watching.
Yeah,
It's been
thanks
the
for
Phillies
watching.
Pod with Mark's Kaport and Peter Dacione. We'll be back. Mark's might be gonna end up being probably co-host of this show, being on this a lot more. We don't know how it's gonna work in the winter.
All right.
Thank you for watching. See you
thanks for watching.
Thursday through Sunday. Thank you, Marcus.
All right. See you, Peter.